The main purpose, and it's in the name, is We the People Continental Congress. Continental Congress effort is what we are largely focused on, aside from our grassroots activism locally. And that has dates set for it, like we said, November 9th to the 24th. And we have 133 days until the Continental Congress. Well, the notion is that these group of liberty-minded people are going to get together and discuss solutions to these violations, constitutional violations, as set out in the petitions that Bob Schultz and We the People presented to every representative last fall and did earlier in 2002, and there was no redress. So they're still taking nominations for delegates. There's going to be 3 liberty-minded delegates from each of the 50 states. Ideally, they would be a pillar of society. They would have a passion for liberty and the Constitution. They would be able to be away from home from November 9th to the 24th, and they would either have funds of their own, or we would help raise funds statewide, or the organization would help raise funds to cover their expenses. So we're still looking for those nominations. There's 7 for New York State. There's going to be an election of the delegates on Saturday, October 10th. It's actually going to be a paper ballot election, which right now, if you look at We the People Foundation's website, Bob Schultz has a lawsuit that's moving to a jury trial regarding the right to vote and the elimination of any, not only electronic voting machines for New York State, but also any mechanical voting machines, violating the spirit and intent of our right to vote because they're not paper ballots and not counted publicly. They're counted in secret. So this is actually an action associated with We the People that's going to a jury trial. So there's a whole other front of activism that takes place through the We the People Foundation with various lawsuits. And in the interest of transparency, we actually donate $50. We've committed to $50 a month from our collective contributions to We the People Foundation, and we made our latest contribution, and we'd like to pass that around so you know it doesn't go to my Ferrari fund. My bar, right, or air conditioning. So what we'd like to do next is go through any topics of the week, and ideally, Paul and I discussed this, that we want these topics of the week to not just be sort of imposed from above, but to be issues that the membership is concerned about and would like to take ownership of. So it's not just me or Paul scouring the internet. Go ahead.
No, you're spot on. Earlier on you said we're a group of action, and our thinking is one of the things we want to do to bring us to very clear action items is we need leaders on those actions. We need to know what the outcome is and how to measure it. So our hope is to develop a list of action items that actually are generated from the group, and that each one has a sponsor's name, and that we have some particular action that we want to take on that item, and we have a way to measure the action, and we have a time by which we want to see it done. I think we're hearing some of that with cap trade and with 1207. 1207 is getting a lot of national attention right now. Probably Bernanke made some mistakes in some comments as regards they're above the law or outside the law and almost the 4th branch of government, unbeknownst to a lot of people. So 1207 is getting an awful lot of attention right now, and that's something else we want to get behind. So we also agreed, though, we didn't want to make too many changes all at once. There's been a change in leadership, etc., and I think we need to get to know one another a little bit better. But just so you know where we're going and there's no surprises, we do want the items to be coming from the group, and we're going to drive them towards some type of particular action toward a purpose, not just to feel good or to get out and to rah-rah. We want to try to make some change by virtue of our activity, peaceful. Sure. Okay?
As we've seen in earlier issues with the state legislature, where they changed the dates, they're going to vote on bills with the assembly, with the gun bills, where we have last-minute votes, not in the dead of night, but on a Friday night, where they switch bill numbers take paragraphs out of one bill, like the Give and the Serve Act, and throw it in from 1388 to 1444. This all requires vigilance, and that's what we're here for. And part of that vigilance comes from popular, or as I changed it to civic, education. We all have to educate ourselves on where to find this information, how to find it fast, and how to react to it in an organized and an intelligent manner. Sometimes we make mistakes and throw things on that may be incorrect, but we normally rectify it pretty quickly. But it's been quite a year, all the way from the bailouts and the concerns in October and November. You tend to see things accelerating, Mark.
Couple quick things. The Ning site would make the communication on cap and trade, as an example, and anything else, a great resource that can then be shared nationwide.
Yeah.
Number two, Downsize DC is a organization that's been talking about reading the bills, one bill at a time. Enumerated Powers Act would have to require the citing of the Constitution. So there are solutions being thought of and so forth. You know, eventually this group should be able to mature from a topic of the week to solution of the week. And lastly, I got a question about Harrisburg and martial law. Who knows anything about that? Of course.
There's a link there.
Well, can you give us a 3-second?
Essentially similar to our Schenectady situation. In Schenectady, New York, where Mayor Brian Stratton saw the police force is out of control. The NAACP representative in Harrisburg sees the town as out of control and suggested more extreme actions.
From a crime?
Yeah, from a crime perspective,
Okay.
And that in order to give security, rights may need to be restricted.
I wonder if that particular mayor of Harrisburg joined Stratton at the White House.
Well, I don't know if it was the mayor. I believe it was just the head of the NAACP chapter. But so what I did is I've taken to sending the topic of the week, or I wanted to change it to "Are you concerned?" And as part of the mission statement of We the People, it's also to organize grassroots activism to confront and repel tyranny. And it's interesting that the word tyranny is even coming up, in our everyday vocabulary. There's a popular book, Liberty and Tyranny, out. But it's interesting times when this is becoming bandied about in our everyday vocabulary. And it takes me back to, if you have, Kevin, you have anything else?
Yeah, I was going to add to that. I found what I was looking for. I came across this the other day. I don't have a bill number associated with it, but it is listed as an amendment to the National Defense Authorization Bill. And it's basically a Representative Alcee Hastings from Florida, who, it says in here that he was an impeached Florida judge. But he is introducing an amendment to this bill that would label Americans as terrorists.
Sure. Any particular Americans?
Pretty much it goes hand in hand with the Homeland Security lexicon and all that. So.